Hey everyone, today on People Now, deadly storms ravage the South and more storms are on the way. We'll tell you what experts expect.
Good Morning America anchor George Stephanopoulos reveals he tested positive for COVID-19 as he also updates on his wife's recovery.
Also on today's show, Andrea Bocelli's Music for Hope live concert brings together millions of viewers on Easter Sunday.
Plus, Tyra Banks surprises a group of high school students to encourage them to stay strong during isolation.
And our exclusive emotional interview with Joe Exotic's campaign manager, Joshua Dial, from the Tiger King docuseries.
That and more all coming up today on People Now. Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome to People Now. Happy Monday. I'm Andrea Boehlke. I'm here in Wisconsin. Hope you all had fantastic weekends. Jeremy, what's up in New York? How was your weekend?
Hey Andrea, went really well. We had a good weekend, Easter weekend. We celebrated at home, in bed, watched the Sunday service in bed. We did a little makeshift Easter egg hunt. It was very different, but just like everything else, I think there's like a level of appreciation for the little things, and especially like big holidays like that, you kind of maybe appreciate it even more because of the situation we're in. It was good though. We had a really nice weekend. How about you?
I had a great weekend with my family. Actually planted some trees, some red cedar trees with my dad and my sister.
Oh, wow.
So that was really fun. Making the most of our time here. Well, we have a lot to get to today, starting off on a serious note.
Strong storms ravaged through the South on Easter Sunday. According to CNN, the storms have left at least 18 people dead. The National Weather Service says at least 34 tornadoes were reported in Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Georgia. That was as of early Monday. The storms caused most of the region to be under flash flood, tornado, and thunderstorm warnings and watches.
CNN reports that Mississippi was hit the hardest with at least 7 confirmed deaths, with over 10 counties reporting severe damage. Deputy Chief Ray King of the Carterville Fire Department told the outlet that a Georgia man was killed Monday morning when a tree fell on his home.
CNN confirmed another death in Jefferson County, Arkansas, when a tree collapsed on a house, killing one person inside.
USA Today says that up to 300 homes and buildings were damaged in Mississippi and Louisiana, while over 60,000 residents were left without power across the two states. According to poweroutage.us, more than 860,000 residents across the region affected lost power. The storms also caused significant flooding and mudslides in mountainous areas.
Mississippi Governor Tate Reeves and Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards both declared states of emergency. Reeves sent out a tweet saying, in part, "This is not how anyone wants to celebrate Easter Sunday." He added, "We have faith that we will all rise together soon."
But the storms aren't over yet. They're expected to travel up the East Coast on Monday and bring continued tornadoes, strong winds, and hail to more than 39 million people in over 11 states.
CNN meteorologist Michael Guy said the worst weather could occur in southeast Georgia up to northern Virginia and warned that a tornado is possible in that region.
All right, switching gears now, George Stephanopoulos has been diagnosed with the novel coronavirus as his wife, Allie Wentworth, recovers from contracting the virus earlier this month.
Yeah, on Monday, the news anchor revealed on Good Morning America that he has tested positive for the virus, though he isn't experiencing any of the classic symptoms. Take a listen.
I've never had a fever, never had cough, never had shortness of breath, never had chills, any of the classic symptoms you've been reading about.
Yeah, he really seems like his usual self there. He went on to tell his co-anchors Michael Strahan and Robin Roberts that it was no surprise he came down with it, since he's been in close quarters with Wentworth as they self-quarantined together in their New York home.
But Stephanopoulos says he actually took the test fully expecting it to be negative, since he didn't feel any of those obvious symptoms. He added, "There was one night several weeks ago when I went to bed early with some lower back pain. I thought it was from a workout that day, and it cleared up the next morning. Then several days after that, I had one day when I had a diminished sense of smell, but that was it for my symptoms over the last several weeks."
Stephanopoulos reveals that his wife is feeling better after her diagnosis, and earlier this month, he updated GMA viewers on how he and his 2 daughters were handling Wentworth's sickness, revealing that he was the only one in the household who cared for her, bringing food, kind of checking her temperature, oxygen levels, things like that. He told viewers that he always makes sure to wipe down anything he touched, and he wore gloves when he went in the room. We're obviously glad to hear that she's on the mend, and we wish him all the best as well.
And in more good news, Hoda Kotb celebrated not only Easter, but also her daughter Hope's first birthday this weekend. Hoda posting a series of adorable photos to Instagram. There's Hope being held up next to her sister Haley Joy. They're even wearing matching Elmo onesies, very adorable. They celebrated with cake, a family video chat session, and big sister Haley Joy holding up what looks like Hope's new Cookie Monster gift. Hoda wrote in part, quote, "Hope blooms this Easter. Happy B-Day, Hope."
Really cute there. Hoda's Today Show co-anchor Jenna Bush Hager and her family also celebrated Easter this weekend. This was Jenna's baby boy Hal's first Easter. She shared these family photos on Instagram, writing about how her daughter Mila initially thought the holiday felt kind of different this year from home, but Mila realized later in the day that it was actually, quote, the best Easter ever because Hal is here. Such a good big sister. Love that family.
Jenna went on to say in the caption that the family was praying for those who feel alone and those who have lost hope, adding, "May you find joy and comfort knowing you are loved." And finally, the Roker family is celebrating too because Al Roker's daughter Courtney is engaged.
The proud dad sharing a collection of photos to his Instagram of Courtney flashing her new ring, holding her fiance Wes close. Al writing in part, quote, "Could not be more thrilled for these two." Meanwhile, Courtney wrote on Instagram that she is over the moon after Wes's Paris-themed proposal, and we are over the moon for them too. Congrats.
Our Stories to Make You Smile series continues today. I think we can all use as many positive stories as we can get right now. And today's comes straight from Milan, Italy, where legendary opera singer Andrea Bocelli gave a special Easter Sunday performance.
Yeah, he live streamed a concert from the Duomo di Milano. It was really incredible, including this rendition of Amazing Grace. Watch.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
So this was all part of Bocelli's Music for Hope concert that aimed to unite the world during the COVID-19 global crisis. It included 4 more moving songs. It was done at the invitation of the city and the Duomo of Milan.
Bocelli's native Italy has been one of the countries hit hardest by the virus. But a little bit of good news, Bloomberg reports the country is now seeing its fewest number of deaths since March 19th.
One of my favorite parts of the whole performance was the contrast between his voice, especially at the end there with Amazing Grace when he was outside, and these shots of empty cities around the world. It was a really powerful display. I actually annoyed my family and made them rewatch that section like 4 different times. But anyway, great experience. Lots of people kind of, I don't know, came together around that entire concert. It felt like kind of a bit of a bonding moment, hopefully a hopeful moment for people.
All right, People Now's Meditation Monday series continues today with more from the Stop, Breathe, and Think app. I'm loving this app a lot right now. It lets you check in with how you're feeling every day, and the short activities can help all of us slow down and connect with our emotions a little better.
Yeah, today we've got an under 2-minute gratitude-themed chill pill because, look, things are tough right now. It seems like there's never been a more important time to remember the people and the little things in life that we're really lucky to have in our lives.
Jeremy and I are going to be following along, and we invite you to as well. Let's watch.
Some positive things in life are easy to overlook. Let's take a moment to appreciate them. Start simple. Take a few deep breaths. Bring some attention and gratitude to your breath. The breath is with you all day. It goes and goes, never asking for anything in return. See if you can feel any gratitude for that. Let it radiate from your heart in any direction it feels like moving. What else can you feel gratitude for? Sometimes it's easy to think about material things or the things you use every day. It could be a hot shower, your bed, or even a glass of water. Take a moment to feel grateful for those things. Now allow your heart and mind to go towards the earth, the grass, trees, rain, all the animals you share the planet with. Next, reflect on the people in your life, friends, family, anyone who has ever lifted you up. Send them some gratitude. Now take a second to thank yourself for this very moment, for taking the time out today. See if you can look for more moments of gratitude as your day unfolds.
You know what? Honestly, whenever there's animals involved, it helps me relax. I'm going to give a little amendment to this. You should do it while either having your cat or dog there and pet them while you're meditating. That is even more calming.
Wow. Did you do that, Jeremy?
I didn't, but I'm going to next time.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I love the ducks. I love the pups. And I think it's really great to slow down, kind of appreciate things that maybe you didn't think about or appreciate before. Has there been anything, Jeremy, in your life that you're now more grateful for?
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, when like a photo will pop up in my feed, like a memory or something of any social interaction at an event, just at a restaurant, anything with friends, I'm really missing that more than ever. So yeah, it's the little things that are becoming more and more important for sure.
Yeah, even just being outside and not worrying about your space and social distancing. I think we all took that for granted. I can't wait till it's back to normal, obviously.
Me too.
But I really like the app and it's very calming. So thank you for that. All right, now we move on to this.
There are so many people going above and beyond right now to make a difference in their communities, and we're spotlighting them in People TV's series, Kindness and Courage, Coronavirus in America.
Episode 2 is out now and showcases 3 amazing people who really stepped up to help in their own way, including Katie Quinn, a high school teacher in Cinnaminson, New Jersey, who realized a lot of her friends wanted to help but didn't know how.
Yeah, Quinn created the Cinnaminson Helping Cinnaminson Facebook group, connecting volunteers with those needing a helping hand. They coordinate grocery deliveries, prescription pickups, and supply exchanges.
In episode 2 of Kindness and Courage, Quinn tells us how and why her movement picked up steam.
I'm really overwhelmed by how many people are stepping up and the different kinds of people. We had, right away, we had the chief of police call me and say that when he was off work, that he would be willing to make deliveries. We had the superintendent offer and sign up as a volunteer. One of the most important parts of this is that like that feeling of like compassion and being able to help your neighbors. It actually makes not just your neighbor feel good, but it makes you feel good too. And it gives us some kind of purpose so that instead of just being locked in, even with keeping social distancing, we know that we can help people that need it the most.
There are even more positive, uplifting stories in the episode, so check out Kindness and Courage on People TV.
All right, everyone, stay with us. Not to be confused with Tiger King, we'll be joined by the star of Netflix's Tiger Tail, Christine Koh. Why she says it's the most personal project she has ever done. Plus, it's the modern TV fairy tale that you're going to fall in love with next. We've got the stars of The Baker and the Beauty coming up in just a bit. All right, a few weeks ago, when we were all just starting to stay home, I spoke with award-winning educator and one of people's favorite teachers, Nicholas Ferroni. Well, Nick is sharing with us an exclusive special guest that he recently introduced to his students from Union High School in Union, New Jersey. Watch this.
Hello, hello.
Can you hear me?
God's first time I've seen everybody in forever.
Hi, Mr. Ferroni.
Okay, hi guys.
Considering everybody's late to my class, let's give everybody another minute or two before they get on. Hope everybody's doing well. We have a guest speaker, which is very cool.
Oh my gosh.
Special guest to sign in. Everybody.
It's no way.
Tyra.
Oh my god.
Oh
my god, this is not real.
No way.
Oh my god.
She's really here.
I wanted to say hi to everybody. They're such obviously amazing kids and amazing adults, and they're going through a really tough time. And I wanted to give them a surprise, and you taking the time to talk to them is probably the best surprise.
Quotes have a way of sticking to me. Like if I read a quote, it sticks and it helps. Is there like a specific quote that helped you keep pushing and to not give up?
Yeah, so there's 2, both from my mama. My mom is everything. I'm actually in my mom's bedroom right now. I wanted to do this from the kitchen, but my mom is cooking in the kitchen and I know she wouldn't be quiet. She'd keep talking. So I'm taking care of her during COVID. She's not sick, but I'm taking care to make sure she don't leave the house.
Sure.
But there are 2 things. One thing is my mom told me to plan for the end at the beginning. Graduation's coming and all that. What are the things that you can do today after we get off of this Zoom that you can do to start planning for the end at the beginning? Think about the dream and the goal, and then how do you work backwards from there? The other thing my mom taught me is look to the other side. There have been times in life where I have been so depressed and sad, and I just could not see past anything. It was just all this pain. And my mother would tell me, look to the other side. Imagine tomorrow, or next week, next month, or next year. This is not going to be pain. This is going to be a memory, and this is going to be a lesson. So we're going to travel in time. And then she would talk to me as if it was the past. So when we think about COVID-19, this is not going to be forever. We're going to find cures. We're going to find vaccinations. We're going to find, the antibodies in blood to make us be able to go back into the public. We're going to get past this. So look to the other side. Imagine all this is over, and imagine you're just chilling with your friends and you're hugging and you're just like, bah, 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 just like it used to be. Imagine being in that classroom that if before on Monday morning you were like, oh, but you know, it's gonna be like, oh my God, I love my teacher. I love everything so much. Just imagine we're gonna get to that. So think about it with COVID, think about it with dating and crushes, think about it with disappointments in life. We get to the other side.
Is your mom a teacher? That sounds like the words of an educator or a philosopher. That's for
She was my teacher back in the day. I hope you guys have prom and graduation. I remember my graduation. I'll never forget it. And so I'm hoping that we can get through this, that you guys can do that too. You might have to be like dancing like 6 feet away, like what?
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tyra.
So much.
All I ever wanted my whole life was to feel like I had someone who cared about me no matter what happened. I never got that from you.
Christine Koh has 2 projects right now. She stars in Master of None and Forever co-creator Alan Yang's directorial debut, Tiger Tail, which dropped on Netflix over the weekend. And she just had her biggest episode yet on the FXX comedy Dave. I spoke to Christine about all of it, including how she said that Tiger Tail, in which she plays a daughter trying to connect with her father, is the most personal film she's ever made. Take a look.
I feel like with this character, I could really relate to Angela because growing up, I grew up in a very strict household. I was adopted by my aunt and uncle, who I call mom and dad, in Georgia, and they really focused on education. And so I didn't really talk to my parents about, you know, my questions about relationships. And I don't even think I said I love you to them until like a year ago, maybe. And that was me saying it, you know? So when this character, when this project came, I was like, first of all, it's incredible that a Taiwanese Chinese girl is the lead of this film. Mm-hmm. And second of all, I was like, I feel like I'm reading scenes from my own life.
Wow.
Where like I'm, you know, I remember moments where I'm in the car with my dad and there's no conversation. We're not really talking about like, how's my day, you know, at school, and you're just kind of just going about your day. And so I feel like when we did those scenes and really you had to feel the distance between them, that was very familiar for me. That reminds me of my childhood and that yearning to have that relationship that all of my friends had with their parents. So yeah, I really channeled that. And I think it came at a really difficult time in my life because the day I was supposed to audition for Tiger Tail, I actually canceled it and got on a flight to Atlanta and was lucky enough to say goodbye to my dad. And I think that was just this insane kind of timing where I channeled those emotions into this project. So a lot of it I kind of don't know if that's Christine or if it's Angela, and it's just me kind of channeling, you know, my grief there. And so it's a little real. I'm not gonna lie.
And something that people might not know, John Cho actually filmed for this, but I understand his scenes were all cut eventually.
Yes.
But you said that he single-handedly transformed you as an actor. What is that all about?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, there is a whole backstory to Angela that we shot. And I think the reason why I say that is because he's in every frame of this movie. He's one of those actors where not only is he prepared and he is kind to everyone and he shows up on time, but he's one of those people where when you talk to him, that's it. He's staring right at you. And he's like, it's almost like he's looking into your soul. And it felt like, I felt so vulnerable, but it was like, he was just standing there being like, I'm here for you. What do you need? You know, like emotionally, like as an actor. And I was like, oh my God, I have never worked with someone like this that made me feel all of these feelings at once. And I feel so safe. And so, you know, I think I'm so lucky that we've got to do these scenes together. And obviously I wish that everybody could see them, but I think you can feel his work, especially in that restaurant scene. Because, you know, there is a reason why Angela feels that guilt and all of that. And that came from me doing the scenes with John Cho.
Wow.
So if you know, that man does brilliant work. And you know what, we said this and we were like, we're gonna work together again someday.
All right, you also star in FXX's new comedy Dave. Just had the biggest episode yet, episode 7, kind of like the big breakout moment for your character.
Yeah, it's Emma's episode where you get to see a different side of her. For this episode, it's like, you know, Emma has those zingers and she tells you, you know, what she's thinking, and it's always a joke here and there. But with this episode, you kind of see the human side of her, and you see that you know, she's really important in Dave's life. You know, like she's the one that he turns to for advice, and at the same time she's really part of, it's not just a boys club, you know, it's very much a big group that works together.
What can you tease for us about what's going to go down between Emma and Els?
Their main concern is that they don't want to blow up this friend group, and I think we've all been there, where you start dating a friend and you're like, oh, this is so good, like I don't want to mess this up. They're really careful about telling the group about what's going on. And I will say this, only one person knows what's going on up until the very end. Yeah, so it's still a big surprise for everyone.
All right, let's throw it back just a little bit. You starred on The Great Indoors opposite Joel McHale.
Yeah.
What's the best or maybe wildest story you have working with Joel?
So we worked with a lot of animals on that show, and there was this little baby pug named Cowboy in one of the episodes, and he was so cute, and we all like, all we wanted to do was hang out with Cowboy. And he just went over to the animal trainer and was like, is this his job for the rest of his life? Like, he's going to have to be an actor? And the trainer was like, yeah, you know, it's, I mean, like, yeah, we fostered this dog, and now this is what he's going to do. And he's like, yeah, I don't want that for him. I want him to like play in the yard and have fun. So I'm just going to purchase him from you.
Oh, wow.
He bought the dog. And so now Cowboy lives with him, with his like 2 other dogs. And I think they have rabbits.
Wow. So Cowboy got a permanent home. He like landed the perfect role and got a full-time forever home out of it.
Yes, and I remember telling Joel after that, I was like, Joel, you know that you just can't like buy the extras. Like you can't just like come on set and like purchase actors. You do know that, right? And he's like, yes, I do. But I'm really happy. Cowboy has a great home now.
Wow,
so
that's actually a great story. That's really great. If you looked forward and kind of had the dream cast of your career and what would come next, what's a dream role or collaboration for you as you look forward?
I have always wanted to do an action film. It's just been like, so I think about like Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and I'm like, oh, I want to do that. Or I think about Bond, and I'm like, why can't an Asian American girl be Bond?
Absolutely, okay.
So that's kind of like my dream role, a little action, a little comedy.
Christine, thank you so much. It's such a pleasure to talk to you. And guys, make sure to watch Tiger Tail. It's streaming now on Netflix, and new episodes of Dave air Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern on FXX and the next day on FX on Hulu. Check it all out.
My name is Daniel Garcia. My life used to be pretty normal, and then everything changed.
You want to ride? Daniel has a date with Noah Hamilton.
You're a baker?
My dad has a place in Little Havana, but we all work there.
She's a celebrity. They're not like us. They don't live in the real world.
What do you want?
I want what my parents have. It's magic.
All right, everyone. The Baker and the Beauty airs on ABC Monday, April 13th. We are so excited. Here to tell us all about it is Victor Vasuk and Natalie Kelly. First of all, before we get into the show, which is very exciting, by the way, what have you been up to? What kind of hobbies? What have you been keeping busy with? Let's start with you, Natalie.
Well, apart from doing a lot of yoga and qigong and, you know, basically I have the opportunity now to do all the things I wasn't able to do when we were filming 14-hour days. So lots of stretching and getting back into my body and taking long baths. But another thing that I've been finding really fun is because I'm transitioning to zero waste, I've been making my own toothpaste. And yesterday I also cut up an old t-shirt to make into like tissues or like hankies. So feeling pretty good about the things I've accomplished so far in quarantine. Can you top that, Victor?
I was just gonna say, Victor, I don't know how you're gonna top that.
Listen, I can never top what Natalie loves to do, so I'll just throw that out right now. But one of the things that I was able to do is that, you know, we, like Natalie was saying, we just got back from 5 months of shooting. The first thing I wanted to do was sleep for days. Obviously, we didn't know that the coronavirus was going to hit, and so that's exactly what I was doing. And then also entertaining myself, I discovered this new app called House Party. So it's like the same concept with Zoom, except you get to play Pictionary and like trivial games. And so I've been doing that with friends from New York, LA, Texas. So that's kind of been a good little, time-consuming thing that I've been doing.
Natalie, you posted this sweet message on Instagram talking about your show coming out and how even though it's a really difficult time, it's this beautiful love story and might be a really positive thing for people to watch. Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about the feeling about your show coming to premiere in a time like this?
Well, I mean, obviously we don't want to trivialize what's going on. It's truly, tough and heartbreaking for so many people. And we could never have imagined this situation when we first started filming. And so it is coming out under these very unique circumstances. And at the same time, I feel like the message behind the show, which is one of love and a family that really comes together and supports one another during tough times. I think that is such a powerful message to be putting out there right now when there is so much uncertainty and there's not a lot that we can kind of anchor into right now in the world, but this show reminds you that you can always anchor into love and family.
I love that. You said it really well, Natalie. It is this kind of beautiful escape and this beautiful love story. Also, I like the angle of it being a family of bakers. I mean, were either of you big bakers before the series?
Well, listen, they always say you're either a really good cook or a really good baker, right? I think I'm a pretty good cook. I also use this service that it's a home delivery service where they bring the ingredients as well as like idiot-proof instructions to your home, and then you get to cook it, right? I got really good at cooking just because of that. But then when I booked The Baker and the Beauty, I was like, well, if I can cook, baking is gonna be a breeze. The only issue is that when you're baking, you need people to taste your product and tell you, if it's good, if it's bad, you need a little bit of this, you need a little bit of that. Unfortunately, I don't have any guinea pigs, so I don't know if I'm a really good baker or if I'm a bad baker. So the jury's still out on that one.
Well, you could send some stuff to Natalie and have her try it out.
Natalie, with Natalie, it's such a competition thing, but she is very sweet. She always says the sweetest things. So I don't know if I'm going to get a 100% honesty with Natalie. And I think I appreciate that when it comes to my baking.
Are you gonna send me some gluten-free baked goods?
See, I don't know.
Are you gonna take into account my food intolerance?
I won't.
Can I say how hard it was to be on a show where surrounded by pastelitos and empanadas when I am very gluten-free and then actually most recently vegetarian?
The cast challenged each other on Instagram in a dancing challenge. And a lot of people are doing that right now, and it seems like a really fun group. I know, Victor, I saw yours. I was just on your Instagram and saw your dancing. Who on the cast is the best dancer?
In the cast?
That is not a question we can answer. Because
no, in the cast, Natalie, in the cast, that's an easy one.
Who?
Yeah.
Lisa Vidal.
I'm sorry, but everyone has their own style. Props to Lisa Vidal, the queen. But I have never been on a cast with more talented dancers. And from Belisa is, for me, dancing is not just technical. For me, a good dancer is somebody who can fully lose themselves uninhibited in the music. And when you see Belisa dancing and Dan Krukatinsky dancing and David Del Rio doing the worm,
that's true. That's true.
Honestly,
that's
you
true.
cannot pick. And also, I'm offended that you did not just say me. I was waiting for you to give me that honor. And
Next question, please.
I bet Natalie's a really good dancer.
She is. She really is. But she also has a leg up on everyone. Tell them your story, Nat. Tell them.
It was my first job. I was a salsa and samba dancer as a teenager on a cruise ship that would cruise Sydney Harbour for tourists. And then we would get on and do our little Latin dance number with like the feathers and everything. So I'm a professional. So I have a heads up. I have a leg up on Victor.
Well, the dance scene in the club wasn't originally scripted. So how did that get included in the show?
Natalie, this is all you.
Sorry, I gotta take credit for this one.
I'll give it to you.
Victor and I, we getting to know each other, we only had like 4 days to kind of like, you know, figure out how we were going to play people who were falling in love. And then we went out and we went dancing, and I saw him dance, and I was like blown away because he's a wonderful dancer. He just really, you know, he does like to dance a lot with himself and can ignore me some of the time. But that's okay because he's a great dancer. He's appreciating his moves. And I saw them and I was like, that's the guy. Like, that's Daniel, and that's what Noah falls in love with. So I told the producers, and thankfully they're an amazing team, and they always let us you know, add our ideas, and yeah, that made it into the pilot, and then it became a big part of the show.
In between takes, Natalie came up with this amazing idea that we should, you know, as a cast or whoever you're working with that day, let's just dance. Let's play some salsa music and let's just dance while we're waiting for the next setup. It was really a genius idea because it kept everything really loose. So when it came to the dancing, say again?
Sorry, I was just gonna say it's such an instant way of connecting. That's why.
Yeah, I thought it was genius. And look, it wasn't my process at the time, but she came up with this idea, and then it just started catching on with the rest of the cast.
Real quick, Victor, you co-starred in Jack Ryan with John Krasinski, so he's currently doing this series called Some Good News, which
I love it.
As people now,
I think it's amazing.
Yeah, so tell me about like watching that, or have you kept in touch?
So I've seen the only one episode, which is when he brought the Hamilton cast. And John, you know, it was so great to work with him. His vibe when you're working with someone like that, you know, obviously the show takes a really serious tone, Jack Ryan. And what I loved about when I watched John work was that in between takes, again, like how we did on our show, in between takes on Jack Ryan, John always found a way to keep things really light, no matter what the circumstances of the scene was, especially because it was a very serious tone. And I loved working with him, and he's such a generous actor, generous human being, and it was really cool working on that. We were all stuck in Colombia, in the jungles of Colombia for 4 months.
Thank you both so much. This has been such a pleasure. And everyone, make sure you catch The Baker and the Beauty when it airs Monday, April 13th on ABC.
Last week, we brought you exclusive interviews with the cast and characters from Netflix's hit docuseries Tiger King, Murder, Mayhem, and Madness. And today, we hear from Joe Exotic's campaign manager, Joshua Dial.
Joshua now suffers from PTSD after witnessing Joe's husband, Travis, fatally shoot himself. I caught up with Joshua, where he shares everything from how his friendship with Joe began to the moments leading up to and after Travis's death. Now, warning here, it's a really graphic interview, also very emotional and intense. Take a look. We are now joined by Joe Exotic's former campaign manager and employee, Josh Dial. Josh, how is it going? How are you hanging in there?
Hey, well, kind of adapting to being like a semi 15-minute fame type celebrity. It's a little overwhelming. I mean, I just work a simple job. I live a simple life in a simple apartment. So it's just been wild. You know, it's crazy.
So how did you even get involved with this campaign, or how did you even get involved with Joe?
Well, I've always known Joe, and I had some respect for Joe, like beforehand, because I mean, you know, he came out. He was a openly gay man back in the day when, you know, you could really get hurt, you know, physically, lose your job, all that stuff, the AIDS epidemic, and he was an out gay man then, and I felt it my duty to go up to him and thank him, you know, for being a trailblazer, so my gay generation, so we can further the fight. And that's how me and Joe's friendship started all those years ago.
Yeah, how has life changed since the series launched?
Well, it's reopened like a ton of like old bad memories and wounds. Like, the thing is like when Travis killed himself in the office that day, like the next day and thereafter for like a year and a half, I had to go into that same office. Like, he did not let me move offices or let me work from the house. Like, I had to sit in that office that next day on for a whole year and a half. And like, he never like helped me with counseling, or Jeff never helped me with counseling. And so like, you know, what I had to do is like start a Cameo, you know, and actually like try to make money, because what I've realized from this whole series being released and everything is that I never healed from this. You know, I never got the help I needed, and I just brushed it under my rug in my brain, you know. And like I've come to the realization that like I've got to get some serious help, and so, you know, it's been you know, good and bad for me.
Yeah, I mean, look, a tragedy like that, I imagine it's really difficult to go back and revisit. When I watched it on the series, it was honestly the most shocking part of the entire show, and it was so sad. I mean, you were there. If you can you take us back to that moment?
Yeah, I mean, Travis, he come in, he was actually in the office, sitting about 5 feet across from me at the desk, right below the camera, which is why you can't see him. You can only see me because that camera is like right above him. And he was actually in the office waiting on a package. And while he was waiting, he pulled out a gun. He said, "Hey, Joe bought me a new gun." And that's, you know, I was talking to him. He said, "Yeah, it's a Ruger." I said, "Oh, okay." And I said, he said, "You know, a Ruger won't fire without a clip in it." And like this next part has brought me like a lot of guilt and a lot of pain, like even like bringing it up like right now. And it's the fact that like I said, "Really?" And when like I feel like if I wouldn't have said "really," then his next move would not have been to do this and then pull the trigger.
But you can't blame yourself.
I know, but I mean, I need, that's why I feel like I, you know, I hate to like, I guess in a sense, make money off of something like this by doing my cameos and my fundraisers and stuff that I'm doing. But like, I mean, I need help, you know, and it's taken me this whole time. Like I always thought that I was just okay. You know, I woke up the next day and I guess somehow like it was such a shock that it's just now hitting me, you know. It's just crazy.
When that happened, what was the immediate steps afterwards? I mean, I know you have a lot of PTSD from it, but you know, did you have to take care of the body? I mean, what exactly happened after that happened?
No, I mean, like, cause for 20 seconds I was like this, you know, and I was actually saying something to him, cause you know, he was still like this. And I mean, I was looking at him eye to eye, you know, and, you know, at this point, the blood was just coming out of his head, but it looked fake. It looked like something out of the movie. So I was like thinking that he maybe had some kind of gag where it was just shooting blood out. And I was looking at him in his eyes and saying, "Travis, are you freaking joking? You know, please tell me it's a joke." And then his head went back like that, just completely. And I don't know at what point, like, I stopped doing this and got up but when his head went back, that's when I realized it wasn't a joke and he was dead. And then as soon as I went out of shock, it feels like, for me, it feels like it was 20 years, but I mean, however long it was.
That's horrible. And I'm really sorry that was something you had to witness. Were you the one that told Joe, or what was his reaction immediately when it happened?
I was still in shock. So what I did is when I finally got up and was able to get up, I walked to the front gift shop, just probably 10 feet ahead, but there was a partition. So, you know, by that, it was he had it so close to his head. There was actually customers in the gift shop when it happened, 10, 15 feet away from this. There was just a partition, and he had it pushed so tightly against his head that it was just a pop. And then, you know, they didn't know what happened. No one even knew. That's why I had to get up and go in there. That's why no one rushed in there immediately. And so I went in there and I told George, who was the cashier, who, you know, admitted people into the zoo. I honestly can't remember what I said to him. I think I just said something like, "Travis just killed himself," something like that. And he called Joe. And all I can't remember anything except for I tried to go back in because I thought I might be able to save him, but they pulled me out and told me, "Go sit on the porch." And just the cries pain I heard from Joe when he got back. It was horrible.
I mean, it's such a traumatic thing to have to live through, and I understand that you're having a lot of PTSD and struggles with it, but how would you say your life has been affected by working with Joe?
Besides all the trauma and the PTSD and all that, man, I lost everything. Like, I had a house. I gave that up to move on part, because when you work for Joe, you have to live on part because you're working 6 days a week, 14 hours a day. The only thing I gained was the fact that I can say that I have held and been in cages with full-grown and baby tigers, and I've transported tigers, and I've lived at a zoo, you know.
Yeah. Are you getting any help for some of the trauma that you've endured?
No, I mean, I've set up a GoFundMe, and I set up a fundraiser on Facebook, and then I'm just trying to I mean, I'm a libertarian, and we don't believe that the government should have a check for every problem. We believe that you should go to the private sector and personal regular folks, and if you have a tragedy, people will contribute. So yeah, I've got GoFundMe set up. I'm hoping to go past our goal of 5,000 and just keep going. That'd be great, because I know it's going to cost way more than that to get back on my feet. I'm sure, as you can see, I'm just totally messed up. I need help.
Before we go, where can people find the GoFundMe?
Well, on my Facebook, if you look on Facebook, Joshua Dial, D-I-A-L, that's where all my fundraisers are.
Well, Joshua, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, guys, coming up tomorrow, Vanderpump Rules stars Lala Kent and Randall Emmett are one of the many couples who have had to postpone their wedding due to the coronavirus. We're going to talk to them about that and so much more.
Plus, Cameron Matheson is giving us a health update, how he is doing following his cancer treatment. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe and healthy, and we will see you here tomorrow.
Bye, guys.